CMPRadio.net. It's the station. CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.
Hello, and welcome to an African Diaspora Coalition Herbal Wellness Plant Medicine Workshop. This is the fourth in our series. Today we're going to be taking a look at memory, chronic stress relief, and cognitive function. The specific category of herbs that we'll be talking about are nervines, tonics that restore and rebalance the nervous system. Some stimulate, others are relaxing, but they all nourish and strengthen the brain, the central and peripheral nervous system, improving cognitive function. The specific herbs that we grow in this category are ginkgo, which is actually wildcrafted, it's a tree, milky oats, periwinkle, and rosemary. And in this slide you see the absolutely stunningly beautiful ginkgo tree right when it's ready to have the leaves harvested. They're slightly green, but mostly yellow. Absolutely beautiful. City residents know the ginkgo tree is a tough, resilient street tree with elegant fan-shaped leaves and smelly fruit, only from the female trees though. Cities plant ginkgo trees because they are hardy and adapt to a wide range of growing conditions. The ginkgo, one of the oldest deciduous trees, is a living fossil which has remained essentially unchanged for more than 200 million years. It is a single species which has no known living relatives and coexisted with the dinosaurs of the Jurassic Age. Also known as the maidenhair tree, the ginkgo is native to China, Japan, and Korea, but is also now grown in Europe and the United States. Ginkgo is referenced in Chinese herbology literature, such as the Daily Use Materia Medica of 1329 and the Compendium of Materia Medica published in 1578. The seeds, eaten in small amounts, are considered a delicacy. The leaves are best harvested in the late summer or early autumn, just as they begin to change color. Ginkgo and brain function. Studies have validated ginkgo's ability to reduce anxiety, stress, and other symptoms associated with dementia, Alzheimer's, and cognitive decline associated with aging. It improves focus, memory, cognition, knowledge retention, mental acuity, and perception. Ginkgo dilates blood vessels, which boosts oxygen levels and increases the ability of the brain to use the oxygen. It increases circulation to the brain. It's high in nutritive antioxidants that protect the brain and the nervous system from damage done by various toxins. Ginkgo also increases microcirculation to all parts of the body, the heart, the limbs, and the brain. It inhibits blood clot formation and inflammation. With regard to arteriosclerosis, ginkgo acts as an antioxidant that strengthens and tones arteries, improving their elasticity. When it comes to diabetes, ginkgo prevents and treats common complications of diabetes, diabetic neuropathy, and poor circulation to the limbs, the eyes, especially the retina. Continuing our consideration of eye health, ginkgo slows and helps prevent degenerative eye disease. It does so by delivering oxygen and nutrients to the eye by increasing circulation. It prevents free radical damage that protects eye capillaries and clears toxins. Ginkgo is used in retinopathy, cataracts, macular degeneration, and glaucoma. It's also helpful with headaches that are migraines caused by excessive stress and or related to reduced blood flow or constricted blood vessels. These are diminished or eliminated with ginkgo use. Ginkgo addresses the symptoms by dilating the blood vessels. Ginkgo has been shown to improve thinking, memory, and the ability to complete daily living activities in people who are recovering from a stroke. We need to be mindful that ginkgo is a blood thinner and therefore should not be used by people who are taking anticoagulant blood thinning medications. This next slide offers pictures of 3 different nervine tinctures that we offer. You see ginkgo there by itself on the far right-hand side. Perspective includes ginkgo along with several other nervine herbs that we grow. Balance and Optimism in the center does not have ginkgo in it. It's actually rosemary based, which we'll address later on. But all 3 of these, Balance and Optimism, and all 3 of these fall into the category of nervines. Food for thought. We offer a notice on all Singularity Botanical products that tells people that the information that we're offering, what we're suggesting, is not intended to diagnose, to treat, or cure any disease. It's information that's offered so that people can choose the best option for their own health. The remedies have not been regulated by the FDA. It's not a regulated industry, and it's considered complementary alternative medicine, an alternative way to safeguard your health. Herbal plant remedies have been utilized, refined, and passed down through centuries. However, it's up to you to decide how to integrate plant medicine into your own life to foster your own well-being. That said, it's important to be aware that Ayurveda, a natural system of medicine, originated in India more than 3,000 years ago. Chinese herbal medicine originated in the Shang Dynasty period in 1766 BCE. The earliest known written record of Chinese medicine is the Yellow Emperor's Inner Classic from the 3rd century BCE. African traditional medicine is the oldest and perhaps the most assorted of all therapeutic systems. Considered to be the cradle of civilization, Africa has a rich biological diversity marked by regional differences and herbal healing practices. This is just to let you know that irrespective of what mainstream medicine is saying about herbal medicine, it is ancient, it is refined. We have classics that have been handed down for the centuries, and Americans spend $30 billion per year on this alternative medicine. 70% of Germans and Canadians use complementary alternative medicine primarily. And the global holistic health and wellness industry is currently worth $4 trillion. The wellness market has expanded by 6.4% since 2017, from $3.7 trillion to a value of $4.2 trillion. This growth in the complementary alternative medicine field has been twice as fast as the growth of the global economy. Let's move on to milky oats. It is the go-to herbal tincture or tea for mental exhaustion and extreme fatigue. Milky oats, which you see here growing, the little seed pods on the left, treats chronic stress, fatigue, and it is one of the medicinal herbs that we consider key to treat drug addiction. This is a nervous system nutritive tonic for mental stress due to exhaustion, overwork, study, and worry. It improves mental acuity, concentration, focus, and memory. Milky oats can help wean people off of narcotic alkaloids such as morphine, heroin, opium, cocaine, tobacco, marijuana, tranquilizers and sedatives, alcohol, and antidepressants. As it facilitates recovery from addiction, it also detoxifies the body and provides a nutritive substitute boost. Milky oats relieve chronic insomnia and palpitations, eases tension and depression as it improves mental clarity. Milky oats lower cholesterol, and they provide mental and physical energy, increasing longevity. Milky oats has a nutritive effect on the brain rather than a temporary short-term stimulus. Oats are grown worldwide in temperate zones as a food crop. Medicinal products are made from the seed pods, the ripe dried fruit, from the leaf, the stem, and the husk. The most effective nervines are made from the milky seed. Oats are an early season crop planted when it's cool in the spring and harvested in June. Seeds will germinate quickly. Oats are an annual grass crop growing to 4 feet tall. Either broadcast the dry seeds or plant a half an inch deep in rows so the plants end up about 3 inches apart. If too many plants are clumped together, their combined weight will make them bend over when the plants are about 4 feet tall. When pinched, the seed pods release a milky substance at the peak harvest point. The milky seed pods are harvested by wrapping your fingers around the bottom part of the stem and running your cupped fingers up the sides of the stem, catching the seeds in your hand as you go up. We tincture milky oats fresh, we dehydrate it for tea, and we fresh freeze the milky seed pods for future use. And here you see a tincture model of the milky oats that we produce. Here you see 3 of our tea packets, all of which are nervines. Ginkgo mint, we spoke of ginkgo as the first herb we considered in this workshop. Focus and concentration combines milky oats and a number of nervines together. And here's milky oats over on the right-hand side, combined with holy basil, which is an adaptogen we referenced in our second workshop. We're going to move on now to another nervine, rosemary, which many people are familiar with because we cook with rosemary. It's a crossover between a culinary herb and a medicinal herb. It serves both purposes. Before we get into rosemary, I'd like to take some time to talk about the hippocampus, which is seahorse, via Latin from the original Greek. The hippocampus is the memory formation center, specifically for declarative memory function in particular. We need to bear in mind that although the hippocampus is the primary memory formation center, memory doesn't live in any one place in the brain. Memory is diffused in patterns of activation across many networks, so we tap into multiple networks to make associations and bring up memories. Memory loss occurs when those networks weaken. Sustained chronic stress atrophies the connection between neurons in the hippocampus, and thus we have memory loss. Let's turn our attention to rosemary. Rosemary is a member of the Lamaceae family and is a rich source of large amounts of phenolic acids, which means that it's a natural source of antioxidants. Several studies have found rosemary leaves to have an anti-inflammatory, antiviral, cytoprotective, and anti-tumoral effect. Cytoprotection is the process whereby chemical compounds protect cells against toxins and harmful agents. The main compounds which cause rosemary's efficacy are 2 phenolic diterpenes, carnosic acid, or Ca, and carnosol. Ca is an antioxidant that removes most free radicals, those atoms and molecules which, having an unpaired electron, produce oxidative damage to cells. So as we've seen, rosemary is a potent antioxidant which improves memory performance and brain function. It prevents the breakdown of the focus neurotransmitter acetylcholine, strengthens the adrenals, attenuating the impact of chronic stress. Rosemary is a warming circulatory stimulant that improves oxygenated blood circulation to the brain. It normalizes blood pressure and protects the blood vessels, promoting heart health, improving overall circulation. Rosemary moderates moods, including depression, and it's a reliever of the nerve frazzle of long-term stress. It detoxifies the liver, increasing enzymes that protect against cancerous tumors. The part of the rosemary plant that we use are the leaves. Rosemary is a perennial rounded-edged leaf, evergreen shrub that doesn't need much care. Plant rosemary in the spring after any threat of frost has passed. The shrub has a moderate growth rate. It will reach its mature size, 2 to 5 feet tall and 2 to 4 feet wide, and begin flowering in its second season. When planting seeds, just barely cover them with soil. Rosemary likes full sun, ideally 6 hours per day. Plant it where the leaf of other herbs won't overshade the seedlings. Plants are rather drought resistant, so don't overwater them, and the soil should be well drained. Left to its own devices, it can get overgrown with thick woody stems. It's best to prune rosemary early in the spring to encourage new growth, but pruning is appropriate throughout the season. Prune no later than 4 to 6 weeks before the first frost when pruning in the fall. Let's move on to our beautiful, cheerful ground cover, periwinkle. Periwinkle is a powerful memory enhancer. It increases alertness and cognition, improves blood flow to the brain, increases neurotransmitters including dopamine and norepinephrine. It's useful for senility, cerebral arteriosclerosis, and prevents arterial hardening. Periwinkle reduces blood clot risk and improves mental concentration. It eases tension, depression, and insomnia, even as it improves clarity. It increases cellular energy production. The part of periwinkle that we use are the leaves and the flowers. Flowers may be white, purple, or pink. Robust, vigorous, quick-spreading, trailing, perennial ground cover is how we describe periwinkle. Periwinkle can literally take over your garden. It prefers part sun and part shade, but will do just fine in full shade. Periwinkle grows best when the soil conditions are humus-rich and evenly moist, but it will also grow in poorer soils, although less vigorously. Periwinkle lays down roots wherever its stems come in contact with soil, which prevents weeds from growing between their dense mats of foliage. Harvesting periwinkle encourages new, brighter, and shiny leaf growth. It's best harvested in the early spring, but leaves can be gathered throughout the growing season. And as always, we pay tribute to the sociocratic organizational process, our decision-making and governance process that holds the plant medicine, Singularity Botanicals, the Community-Supported Enlightenment Network, and the African Diaspora Coalition, and an interconnected, fluid, communicative network so that we can best honor everyone's gifts and talents in our circles. Sociocracy holds the space for organic, innovative emergence. Our entire project, as we always emphasize, is about African American self-care sovereignty. We reclaim control of our health naturally. We address intergenerational health conditions in the Black community. We prepare for systems disruption, and we produce plant medicine locally to meet our own needs.
When the night has come, and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this window into how medicinal herbs are transforming health, well-being, and the overall life quality of friends and neighbors in these challenging times. More and more people are learning about the benefits of complementary alternative medicine, particularly plant medicine, in the form of medicinal herbs which can transform the quality of our lives, our health, and our well-being. My name is Pamela Boyce Sims, and I convene the African Diaspora Earth Care Coalition and Singularity Botanicals, two organizations dedicated to putting control of health, self-care, and well-being back into the hands of individuals and communities. We have learned so many lessons about how fragile the healthcare system is. We've seen how systems that we always thought we could count on can be disrupted in the blink of an eye. So we work with communities which are the most vulnerable to climate change, which are suffering from extremely toxic environmental pollution and chronic intergenerational illnesses, to grow and enjoy the benefits of their own plant medicine. The African Diaspora Earth Care Coalition and our distributor, Singularity Botanicals, partner with a wide variety of medicinal herb grow sites in our hub state of Pennsylvania and all around the country. Our medicinal herb partners range from tiny house cooperatives to small farms, Quaker meetings and Baptist congregations, Buddhist monasteries to community centers and arboretums. Today, we're going to hear from some of the people who are enjoying stronger, more robust health as a function of taking our medicinal herbs, and learn about what interested people in growing medicinal herbs in and for distressed, climate change vulnerable populations. How long had you been dealing with the condition before you decided to go with medicinal herbs?
Okay, so for years, we actually both grew up in Chester. I know there's a lot of refineries and things in the area, but for years I had this mucusy feeling in my chest, and I had this terrible cough that I couldn't get rid of. I went to the doctors a few times. I've tried allergy medications. I've tried steroids. I've tried all types of things. And in the end, the medicinal herbs was the one thing that I actually saw an instant improvement. Like, I actually could feel my symptoms relieving and see them go away. It was crazy. It's definitely crazy.
Wow. So when you say congestion, was it problems breathing, not being able to take deep breaths, or was it kind of rattly or phlegmy or wheezing?
Definitely rattly. Like, if I would inhale, I would always go into a cough. Or at night, I would wake up in the middle of the night just coughing and coughing and coughing. And they always told me it was something called postnasal drip.
Okay.
So, I went to pharmacy technician school, so I knew a lot about medication, and I always chose not to take medication, the medication route. So I didn't want to keep doing, all the prescriptions and things like that. That just wasn't working out. I thought I was allergic. We had a cat at a point. I thought I was allergic to the cat. We stopped doing animals. We started dusting more. We started opening windows in the wintertime, just everything. And there was literally no relief, literally nothing.
Gosh. So describe how, when you're taking the medicinal herbs, can you describe what your breathing is like, or how did you know that there was a change? I mean, can you describe physically what was going on there?
Well, I started in about August, and I want to say like the beginning of September was a little rough because it was kind of like, I guess I could feel it breaking up. It was kind of getting worse. You know, one of those things that gets worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of could feel like my chest loosening up, and I was bringing up all kinds of things. But
Good.
like by the end of September, I was inhaling and exhaling. I'm like, wow, you hear that? Like, I'm not coughing. It was definitely different. It was very different. Very different.
It was in a really good place, because I had just been moving in with my grandmother for like the last couple of months, and I had issues stockpiling on each other. I had trouble sleeping. That was just a detriment to just the amount of work I was putting in through college and stuff. And then came the memory loss when I got sick last year. So for some reason, I just couldn't retain the same information that I used to. Pen and paper helped me manage a little bit, but at that point, it was just like I had no idea how to get that extra step to feel better. Now, my grandmother, she's very strong on herbal teas and just drinking, eating healthy in general. So when we went to one of these functions, I was like, oh, sure, I'll just go with you, Grandma, just make sure you're all right, And then when we actually got there, it was like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of stuff here for me too. So, I started reading around, and it was the first event that I went to where I had the personal trainer. That's where my outlook on just what I can do to change myself really just started expanding there, because it just went from, okay, well, maybe just a therapist or something will probably help me out. But then I realized there's stuff that I can do myself, right? I could actually get up out the bed and go to the gym or something, or, take a little bit of supplements a day to get me to go by. And that's something that I hold dearly these last couple of months. I'm telling you, if you had seen me from June into now, you think I'm a completely different person. Like, my energy is different, my attitude. I move a lot better now. I have a consistent schedule at the gym. I'm doing well in an internship. Like, it's it's funny how a lot of these things just kind of line up, but it really just started with that changed mindset that I just wanted better for myself. And luckily, you guys kind of helped me out at the right time.
Members of Harrisburg Friends Quaker Meeting, Pennsylvania Plant Medicine Grow Site Partners, talk about how their group went through the process of becoming a medicinal herb grow site. They now produce nettle root, which is an ingredient in one of our men's health tonics, and dandelion root, a liver cleanser that detoxifies the body. Partner grow sites at a distance from eastern Pennsylvania grow sites cultivate herbs whose medicinal properties are found in the roots, which can be more easily shipped here to us in eastern Pennsylvania. They grow echinacea, burdock, ashwagandha, dandelion root, elecampane, valerian, and nettle root. Let's take a listen to how their Quaker meeting became a medicinal herb grow site that will serve community members where their Quaker meetings are located in Harrisburg.
I heard about it and became curious when I was involved with the Community Supported Enlightenment run by Pamela. And during some of those sessions, and I ended up asking Pamela about it and decided to bring it to the meeting.
A group of us that were interested in Carter's leading, and so then he arranged for Pamela to speak to us. And this was about a year later, so this was in the spring of 2021 when she actually spoke to our core group, and she outlined the project and how her organization would pay for the materials, and basically Harrisburg Friends Meeting, if we were interested, would supply the sweat equity of creating the beds and planting the things and harvesting. And she told us like exactly what we needed to do and told us what to start with, which would be easier. And so a kind of a group came together and said, okay.
the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me.